Like most election cycles, this one has had its fair share of twists and turns.
You're going to hear pundits call it an October surprise, and it can be planned or completely unexpected. Either way, it has the ability to sway an election.
This cycle, there has been more than one surprise, and they started coming before October.
The stage is set in Atlanta.
This is an important night for both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump.
In the end, it might come down to 6 seconds.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with,
As President Biden appeared to lose his train of thought.
we finally beat Medicare.
It was a vicious debate.
Republicans really having a field day, saying that they thought this debate presented Biden as weak and not up to the job.
It was not the night President Biden had hoped for.
57% after the debate say they had no confidence at all in his ability to lead the country.
I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
Biden spent the entire week at Camp David resting, working, studying. He studied very hard. He studied so hard that he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
I will never turn my back on President Biden.
Stepped down after the debate performance last night. Should he step aside?
I'm with Joe. As I've said before, I'm with Joe.
Biden told at least 2 people his next few public appearances are critical.
We understand the concerns. We get it. The president did not have a great night.
I screwed up. I made a mistake.
President Joe Biden is in it to win it.
He's staying in the race.
Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It's a bad episode.
5 current House Democrats now calling on Joe Biden to step aside.
Damage control continues tonight for President Biden.
Biden wrote a letter to House Democrats and said he's firmly committed to staying in this race.
But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me.
Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No.
Joe has made it clear that he's all in.
What's Joe Biden going to do? I am running, and we're going to win.
All eyes on tonight's presidential news conference.
It is unscripted, and reporters will be asking him questions.
In response to the very first question he faced, President Biden got the name of his own vice president wrong.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
Coming on the air with breaking news right now. We're getting word that former President Donald Trump, during a rally in Pennsylvania,
Heard a series of popping sounds.
Former President Trump clutched his right ear and ducked behind the podium, whisked off stage. He raised a fist and mouthed fight. Shooter perched on a building adjacent to the venue opened fire.
Crazy there. I mean, it was so scary.
One person in the crowd was killed.
I saw the man that was hit in the head, and there was a lot of blood.
Former President Donald Trump showered with a hero's welcome after surviving an assassination attempt. 50,000 attendees and 2,400 Republican delegates in Milwaukee today for day 1 of the RNC.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight. I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that.
Today, the current resident of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the man with millions of supporters in every state in the union, realized the rigors and demands of a presidential campaign are simply too much to bear. So, Joe Biden is out. I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term.
The endorsement by President Biden of his number 2, Kamala Harris, to become the new presidential candidate was not much of a surprise.
Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year.
The Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Vice President Kamala Harris taking the reins of the Democratic Party Monday as the presumptive Democratic nominee.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history.
Vice President Harris tonight securing enough delegates to win the Democratic nomination for president.
The president called in with a message for Harris.
We're still fighting in this fight together. I'm not going anywhere. And I want you to know you've always had my back, and I promise you, I will always have your back.
It is my intention to go out and earn this nomination and to win.